Many years ago, there was a very handsome young boy named Nduka. He lives in a small city with his parents. Nduka, being the only child of his parents, was excessively pampered. His parents made sure he never lacked anything. Nduka was a very promising young boy with a bright future. His parents loved him dearly and had done everything in their power to steer him towards a better future. But he chose a wayward life. He spent his days smoking and drinking excessively with his friends who lived the same wayward life. All advice for him to learn a trade or acquire a skill fell on deaf ears. Nduka's parents were heartbroken. They watched helplessly as their only son waste his life in wayward lifestyle. They tried everything, both advice, threats, and even prayers, but nothing could pull him away from his bad habits. No matter how much they pleaded, he always found himself back to the same group of friends, the same routine of drinking and smoking. Nduka, what is wrong with you? Why don't you want to be useful to yourself? What have your father and I not done to make you a better person? Why do you choose to waste your life hanging around with bad friends? I am not wasting my life, Mom. I know what I am doing. Those friends you call bad are not as bad as you think. Don't worry. I will surprise you one day. I will show you that I know what I am doing. I will make it big soon, Mama. Very soon, I will hammer. One fateful day, Nduka's life took an unexpected turn. A middle-aged woman in her 50s walked into the compound of Mr. and Mrs. Eze, Nduka's parents. She was holding a young girl in her 20s by the hand. Why, who is here? Mama Nduka opened the door and they briefly exchanged greetings. Madam, where is your son Nduka? We have come to see him. I hope there is no problem. Nduka is not at home now, but he will soon be back. There is serious problem. Nduka, your son, has impregnated my daughter, she said, pulling her daughter Ifunanya forward. Look at her. We are not leaving here until your useless son come back. Ifunanya was a quiet and calm girl with a good upbringing. She came from a well-disciplined home, while Nduka lived recklessly, indulging in smoking and drinking. Despite their contrast lifestyle, Ifunanya was attracted to Nduka. Because of his striking physique, the attraction led to a relationship and eventually an unexpected pregnancy. Ifunanya's parents, who were deeply religious, insisted that Nduka take responsibilities for his actions. There was no option. He had to marry her. Nduka's parents became heartbroken upon hearing the news. They were deeply disappointed, realizing that their son's action could alter the course of his life. They have invested so much hope and love in Nduka. This boy will not kill me before my time. What has come over him? Why has he decided to mess up his life? Oh no! Nduka did not deny the pregnancy, but he was filled with uncertainty about what to do next. The weight of the situation pressed heavily on his shoulder, and he thought of running away to a far-off land where no one knows him, so that he can continue his lifestyle without anybody disturbing him. Anyway, I will stay. I will not run away. My mom and dad are there to take care of Ifunanya and her baby until she put to bed. I don't need to bother myself. Ifunanya moved into his parents' house after a small rushed traditional rites were done. Nduka's parents, though heartbroken, welcomed the girl, hoping her presence might change their troubled son. Ifunanya was an epitome of a good wife. She is indeed a wife material. Her homemaking skills were exceptional. The aroma of her delicious meals often filled the air. Nduka always longed to come home to enjoy the delicious meal prepared by Ifunanya. From the moment Ifunanya moved into their house, she began to observe Nduka's lifestyle closely. She decided not to nag or complain. Instead, she began with words of encouragement, polite suggestions, and gentle words. When Nduka was about leaving for his usual hangout, she gently asked him, "Sweetheart, do you think smoking is good for our baby?" Nduka ignored her and headed out to meet his friends. Ifunanya decided to strategize and come up with a plan. One evening, when Nduka was smoking with his friends in their regular spot, Ifunanya decided to do something bold. She walked gently to the corner where the boys sat. The smell of Igbo filled the air. Nduka was surprised as he saw her approaching. He wondered what she was up to. "Ifunanya, what are you doing here?" She ignored him, greeted his friends, shook them by the hand one by one. Nduka stood speechless, confused and not knowing what to do. Nduka's friends were equally surprised. Ifunanya sat down beside him and reached out for one of the wraps of Igbo. And before anyone could react, she lighted it up. Nduka immediately snatched it from her. "What are you doing? Are you mad? Do you want to kill yourself? Don't you know you're pregnant? This is dangerous for the baby." Ifunanya remained calm. She looked directly into Nduka's eyes and said, "So, it's bad for me because I am pregnant. What about you? Isn't it bad for you too? Don't you think our child deserves a healthy father?" Nduka's friends remained silent, watching the scene unfold. Ifunanya's words really touched Nduka, and after sitting quietly for a while, stood up, threw the Igbo to the ground without saying another word. He followed Ifunanya home. That night, he could not sleep. Her question echoed in his mind. "Don't you think our child deserves a healthy father?" He looked at Ifunanya, who is sleeping peacefully beside him. And for the first time in his life, he realized the weight of his responsibilities. He began to think, "I am going to be a father. Someone will depend on me for love, guidance." The next day, Ifunanya didn't bring up the incidents at all. She pretended as if nothing happened, going about her daily activities. Few days later, Ifunanya repeated her bold action. Whenever he left for his usual spot, she would appear, always calm and polite. Each time, she greeted his friends, collected a wrap of Igbo, and began to smoke. But Nduka will immediately snatch it from her. Nduka became very worried about his wife and unborn child being involved in his smoking lifestyle. Gradually, Nduka began to lose interest in going out. The habit of drinking and smoking no longer felt as exciting as it used to. He started staying home more often, helping Ifunanya and his mother with house chores. He began to disconnect and disassociate from his friends. One evening, when they had finished dinner, Ifunanya suggested something to Nduka. "My husband, why don't you learn a trade? Something that will help you support our family. You know very soon, our baby will arrive, and it will not be good for us to depend completely on Papa and Mama to feed us and also feed our baby. Please find a trade and learn. That way, you will have your own money." He began to think of what his wife said. After weeks of consideration, Nduka decided to learn tiling. He found a skilled tiler and paid him to learn under him. For the first time in his life, Nduka has a sense of purpose and direction. Months passed and Nduka transformed before everyone's eyes. He became more responsible and more focused in building his life for his family. His bond with Ifunanya grew stronger and he was excited knowing he will soon become a father. He stopped smoking and drinking completely, paying more attention to his work and family. Months later, Ifunanya delivered a bouncing baby boy, and that day was the happiest day of Nduka's life. He held his son in his arms, looking at the tiny face that had unknowingly changed his world. He swore to be a good and responsible father and to give him and his mother the love they deserve. Nduka's parents were overjoyed. They could hardly believe the transformation in their son. When the whole family were eating dinner one evening, Nduka's mother called Ifunanya and said, "My daughter, thank you very much. You have saved my son from life we thought would destroy him. We are very grateful to you." Ifunanya smiled and hugged her mother-in-law, and the whole family lived happily ever. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.